Alright everyone, so in the last, this is extra, or scene 3 by the way, so I've gone to load scene and opened up scene 3. By the way, I just want to let people know that I don't collect these drill files. These are just purely for practice. Don't worry about don't worry if yours does not look like mine, or I'm not grading or collecting any of this stuff. Okay, so this is scene 3 here, and we've been talking about using the brush tool, and for instance choosing a color like black or peach, or even making my own color. I could click, and maybe I'm going to make a green color. I could make it less saturated, more saturated, brighter, darker, right? Now you'll notice that a lot of these feel very, there's a thickness to it. It has kind of like a thick, washy kind of feel to it. I may want to make a brush that has more of a texture to it, okay? And so to do that, we're going to use the tab that's called Raster. Raster tab allows you to apply a texture to your style. Okay. So first you choose a color, like for instance this green that I've set up. Then I'm going to click on this tab here. So this is my color tab. It sets the color like it sounds like. I'm going to click here. And you'll notice I have all of these sort of different names here. So for instance, it says things like dry brush or, pencil, or it doesn't say anything, but it's a pencil little logo here, right? Actually, there's a little term here. It's 2B pencil. So that's kind of like a literal 2B pencil. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see that here's the color, and then it has this little icon, and then when I use it, oh, this is an eraser. There we go. So when I use this, it's creating a different texture, right? It's kind of a, kind of like a, and actually it may even change some of the options up here. In this case, like the sizes before, we're going from like 0 to 100. This only goes to like 3 as the maximum. So I can actually choose different styles here, and you can see I get different sort of textures. This one's a little bit more of like a chalky kind of feel. What do they call it? Yeah, chalk. So, and you can see also even here in the palette, it has the color in the upper. It might be better to see it in the thumbnails here. You can see that the color, but then also it has a little indication that this is using a texture applied to it. So you can go through and try different styles here. Pen kind of makes a nice kind of interesting. Everything's not so uniform, So it's sort of a varying thickness, kind of like the way a pen would be if, like a stylus pen wouldn't have the same thickness all the way through. So it doesn't look so, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't look so computerized, okay? So by default, you get actually quite a bit of brushes you can play around with. If you want to kind of collapse them or make them a little bit more manageable, you can kind of hit the little minus here. Just got to open them when necessary. So you get a lot of brushes to play around with. Find the one that works best for you. You can even install brushes as well. So Tahoma and OpenTunes use a brush format called MyBrush. This is a format used by a program called Krita, which is a pretty good open source drawing tool. If you're just purely looking for a drawing tool, not an animation tool, you might want to consider it. What you can do, I'll put some links in. Basically, you can download brushes that people have made for MyBrush, the format. I gave you guys an example here. It's called Example Brushes. So you can, inside of this folder, you can see this file here called .myb for my brush. Okay, so anything with this extension you can install into Tahoma. The way we're going to do it is by loading it into the program directly. The way you do that depends on whether it's a Mac or a PC. I'm going to show you guys first how to do it with a Mac, because that's what I'm using. And I'll have a little follow-up video that does it for Windows. So on a Mac, what you would do is go to your application folder, find Tahoma2D, it should be alphabetical, and if you right-click, there should be an option that says Show Package Contents. You get a little folder that looks like this, and you want to go where it says Tahoma Stuff, Library, and then My Paintbrushes. Okay, this is where all your brushes are loaded into the program, and so you can use the example brush folder that I gave you. Literally just drag it in there, drop it. You can close that up now that we have it. You're going to have to restart the program. So I'm just going to save. And quit. Come back into the program again. And you can see example brushes is now loaded. Okay, so if I click, you get kind of this gritty brush here. So, make some interesting brushes. So, find the brush that works best for you. Now, these are called raster brushes. Okay. And we're going to get into the concept of raster versus vector a little bit, so I want to explain the difference. Something that is a raster, or a raster graphic, is an image or a drawing comprised of pixels. Okay. So the best way to kind of show it is with a program like Adobe Photoshop or something like that. I'm going to use kind of a similar program called Photopea just to quickly show it to you. So I'm going to open up an image. Let's say I have an image. Okay, here's a picture of my backyard. If I zoom in on this picture here, you can see that this image here is actually comprised of small little squares. Okay, these small little squares, these are what we call pixels. Okay, pixels are arranged in rows and columns, so I can have rows like this, and I can have columns like this. This is similar to how programs like Photoshop work, Adobe Photoshop or Clip Studio Pro or something like that. Okay, so a raster graphic is made up of these small squares, and each small square can have its own unique color. So I can have a red square, I can have a blue square, green square, so on and so on. And when you get enough of these pixels together, you could have a complicated, can't even see it at this point, complicated image like this. Now this is a photograph, meaning it's photorealistic, but this is also how Tahoma works. So if I was to zoom in on this, eventually you would see that this is actually broken down in individual pixels. Okay, so each of my brushes here is made up of individual pixels when I draw. Okay, this is going to be different from another way I'm going to teach you later on, which is called vector brushes. Okay, so just keep aware that there's different ways of creating graphics in Tahoma2D. Okay, so once you guys try that out, open this up, try using various make a color if you want in your palette and apply some sort of texture. If you ever want to remove your texture, by the way, let's say, right now I have something like this, and let's say I wanted to remove it, just go back to the default. You could always go to where it says no brush, which is always going to be in the upper left-hand corner, and then it just goes back to its normal default, essentially. And you'll notice that there's no more icon on the left side here.